Hey guys, we're live right now on the team page. I hope you guys can get on and join us. I'd love to do some question and answers, so if you've got anything for me, just start commenting. And this is my first time doing this, so hopefully we've got all the bugs worked out. I'm pretty excited. So I'm going to start and talk a little bit and just kind of tell you guys my story for those of you that don't know it, and then we'll let the comments come in. I am excited. I've also asked some of our really great coaches. Hey Krista, see you on here. Woo! I've asked some of our great coaches like Krista Hawkins and Melissa Corbin and Jana Mitchell and Lisa Hampton and several others to join us tonight so that they can help answer the questions as they come in. So I really hope that you guys can join in and we can get some coaching on. So I'm going to start by telling you my story. I joined this for weight loss like a lot of y'all after my third baby. I was really struggling to drop the last 15 pounds. I was having no success. And I had watched my friend Robin Packard for about 3.5 years. She had lost 87 pounds in 6 months. And hey Tana, thanks for the comment, girl. And she had kept it off and I was impressed. And at the time I was training for a half marathon and I was cutting calories, I was still breastfeeding, and I was having zero success. So I finally went to her and I said, what are you doing? How did you lose that weight? I'm probably not going to do it, but tell me how you did it. And she said, you need to do an 8-day. You're going to love it. You need to check this out. And so I said, okay. So I got my kit, I got started, and I dropped 10 pounds and 2 pant sizes in the first 8 days. It was amazing. Kept on going. I lost 15 pounds in a month. 4 pant sizes. I went from a 10-12 to a 2-4. And it has stayed off for almost 2 years, which is a big deal. Well, after that, I started looking into the business because people were asking me, what did you do? So that's when I really got into coaching. I love coaching. I have a huge passion for it, as well as so many others on this team do. So I'm so excited so many of you are on here. I see your comments. This is so cool. This is going to be a huge tool for our coaching and our support. So if you're on here and you've got some coaching questions, let's get them started. I'm excited to answer them and see. So anybody got a question? I'll keep talking if not. I don't have any trouble talking. So, I can start off by telling you a little bit about the system and about the products. Basically, what we have is a fat burning system, as most of you know. I know a lot of you are new, but what we're going to do is we're going to basically transform your body from being a fat maker and a fat storer to a fat burner. And that's what we do, and that's how we coach. So, the products... Hey, Sherry! I love the comments. I'm here. That's fun. Reading all your guys' comments. Any of our newbies needing questions, just feel free to answer and I'll dive right into it. But otherwise, I'm going to kind of explain how the system works. So basically, it's a fat burning system. We're going to transform your body into storing and making fat to burning it. By day 2 or 3 on the system, you'll be in fat burning mode, and that's how we lose the inches and the pounds. Alicia Hughes says, why are 3-way calls so important? Okay, so I will talk about that. That's a great question, Alicia. And this is more on our coaching and support page, not so much on the business page. But I will tell you, 3-way calls are really important for coaching because weight loss is personal. Weight loss is sensitive, and you need to know that you're going to have a support. So it is very important that you put your newbies in touch with several coaches in the beginning so that they have that support that they need. So that's really why it is so important to do 3-way calls, especially with your newbies. Okay, I'm going to scroll back. I saw some more questions. Okay, Sandra asks, what is the app to use to count your calories? Okay, so there are several that I know people use. I personally like the MyFitnessPal. That's one that I know several of the coaches use. I might have some of you guys chime in too and tell me what you use. MyFitnessPal is very, it's really handy because you can use it to track your macros, your fats, your carbs. And on this, we don't really necessarily count calories on the keto plan. We just count calories to make sure we're not getting too little. So you want to make sure you're staying up around 1,200 calories a day. But Sandra, I would download MyFitnessPal. That's going to be really helpful for you. And then we can set your macros in it to ratio out properly. Melissa Corbin says, what are keto sticks? That's a great question, Melissa. And I know Melissa knows what that is, but she wants me to explain it. Basically, a keto stick is going to be a way to check to see if your body is in fat burning mode. So, basically, by day 2 or 3, your body is going to be completely run out of glycogen stores, which is a good thing. And it's going to be metabolizing and breaking down your fat. And that's why we turn our bodies into fat burning machines. That's what the products do. They help us do that. And the keto sticks help keep us on track. They're like a self-check and an accountability mechanism to make sure that we are indeed doing what we're thinking and we're not getting too many carbs. Great question, Melissa. Thank you. Okay, I'm going back. Krista says, I use Carb Manager on iPhone only. Okay, so that's for Sandra asking about the app. Deidre Carver asks, how do you get and stay in ketosis? Okay, that's a great question. So on the 8 days, when you're very first starting out, you should be able to get in by day, I say 3 to 5 is kind of a really good ballpark if you're sticking with it and you're not cheating, which you should be because you want to have the maximum results. So you should get in that way, and really basically how you're going to stay in ketosis is you're going to stay under 25 net carbs a day. You're going to do moderate protein and high fat. You're going to get high fat from really good sources like avocados. You're going to use some MCT oil, some coconut. Natural fat sources is where you're going to want to get those. So you can Google keto-friendly fats and really find that out. Also take into consideration in ketosis that we drink a lot of water because your body cannot metabolize a dehydrated fat cell. So you've got to drink a lot of water to keep those fat cells metabolizing. So sometimes when you drink a lot of water, those ketosis sticks may come back with a lighter reading. So make sure you're checking your ketones several times a day to make sure that you're doing what you think you're doing. Okay, does that make sense? I hope that helps answer your question, Deidre. Deanie asks, what about people that are lactose intolerant? Okay, that's a great question. As far as the products go, I know that Action has a little bit of milk in it, but I will tell you, I've had a lot of people that are strictly lactose intolerant, not necessarily have a lactose allergy, that have no trouble using the products. But if that's something that you're concerned about, you should check with your doctor. But you can leave that out. I love Action. It's one of my very favorite, but if you feel like you can't use it, you can leave that out. And then those people would do, they would not do cheeses and dairy, which is fine. They could do almond milk, the unsweet almond milk. They would eat more meats. They would get their fats from the avocados, the nuts, and things like that. So they would just need to stick to a little bit of a different food plan, but we have lots of ideas for that. So that's a great question, Deanie. Thank you. Melissa asks, what if someone is on their 8 days and they are feeling really tired? Great question. Okay, so if it's your first 8 days, it's probably detox. We have a little bit of that sometimes. I would say maybe about 10% of people experience detox. It's not real common, but it does happen. We are going through a healing process with our body, so it's a good thing when your body converts from burning glycogen to going and burning fat. Sometimes it doesn't want to do it because glycogen is easier to burn. That's why we crave sugar. So if you're feeling a little tired, just drink more water and rest. It's okay to rest. If your body's telling you it's tired and it needs a break, take a break. It's part of the process, and it's actually your body telling you, that it needs that. It needs that rest. Also, our products are going to help with that because sometimes your schedule doesn't always allow for a nap, and in that situation on your first 8 days, if it is from detox, you can do things such as take an extra Zing, drinking more water, the Accelerate, and the Spring are also really great for energy. So that's a really great way to fight the fatigue, and also eating more food can really help with that. So it just kind of depends on where you are, but that's a really great question. Okay, Sherry Spiller says, can you take XR2, Shine, and Flush together or within 30 minutes of each other? Okay, so Shine is a fairly new product, and from what I understand and how I have been taught, you need to take your Shine separately. So what I do is I take my Shine after supper because I like to take it with food, and then I take my XR2 and my Flush before I go to bed. So they're usually a couple hours apart. Does that make sense, Sherry? Okay, Cheryl asks, what if someone gets diarrhea? Okay, diarrhea can happen. I mean, it's not obviously ideal, but sometimes in detox you can experience a little bit of diarrhea. It's your body's natural way of eliminating a lot of that sugar out of your body because it realizes how toxic it is. So to fight that, you want to drink a lot of water. You want to make sure you're using Spring, because Spring will help replenish the potassium and the electrolytes in your body. And then you may kind of cut back on the flush if you're experiencing diarrhea. You may only have 1 instead of 2 at night. So that's a great question. And also cheese will help with that as well, kind of stop things up. So that's what I would suggest if you're experiencing some diarrhea. Okay, Edwina asks, can someone with no thyroid take Accelerate? In my experience, I would say I've had a lot of people with no thyroid that has been able to use it, but that is also something I would love for some of our other coaches to chime in on. I know that Kara Cunningham, one of our coaches, has actually coached several girls that have no thyroid, and she had two of her girls have actually experienced thyroid cancer and have no thyroid. So that would be a really great question. I might have to ask Kara and get back with you on that, Edwina, but that is a great question. Okay, Jessica Thomas says, okay, you threw out a lot. Can you go over staying in ketosis again? I can't write that fast. Sorry. Yes, no problem, girl. And also, if you're, if you have more questions after this, because obviously we can't cover everything, feel free to set up a coaching call with me and your coach, and we'll kind of go over it more specifically for you. Okay, so ketosis. Basically, in a nutshell, if you're starting your first 8 days, you're going to get in it by day 3 to 5, okay? That's a really good thing. That means your body's burning fat. Go ahead and get through the rest of the 8 days. Finish it like the chart says, like on Robin's keto plan. Don't so much get into the whole fats and calorie counting in the very beginning. Just follow the plan. Stick with it. Don't make it too complicated. Then after that, depending on your goals, say your goals are 40, your goal is 40 pounds. You're going to have your first 8 day, and then you might turn around and want to do another 8 day. And you're going to be in ketosis just from eating the way the 8 day is scheduled on Robin's keto plan. And then you might turn around and want to do another 8 days, so that might be 3 back to back. And then after you do 3 back to back, then you might want to go to a moderated lifestyle and keep on losing, which would be 25 net carbs a day. That's going to be about 70% fat, 20% protein, 5% fat. Does that make sense, Jessica? I hope I'm not confusing you even more. But basically, that's going to set up your macros so that your body stays in fat burning mode and you don't go too low on your calories. And that way you stay in ketosis and you stay losing. You may need to, you might want to cut back to like 2 shakes a day. Maybe 3 is a little hard to get in. So you may cut back to 2 shakes a day and you stay under 25 net carbs and you keep your food real similar to that and you keep your supplements the same. Does that make sense? Okay, Liz Lindsay says, what do you suggest on a cheat day? Okay, this is a great question. And this is often, there's all kinds of answers for this. I would recommend on a cheat day, and this has evolved. When I first started, I said, oh yeah, just cheat, have everything you want to. If your goal is, if you've got a pretty big weight loss goal, when you take a cheat day, I actually would recommend don't go crazy. I know a lot of you coach this way too. Maybe a sweet potato, maybe some dessert, maybe, some more complex carbohydrates, something like that to kind of just shake up your body. Maybe you don't go crazy. That's actually kind of what I recommend at this point. Everybody's different. So that's kind of one of those things you might want to kind of get with your coach and see where you're at. If your weight loss goal is, smaller, you may want to consider, you may want to have a bigger cheat day. I know for myself how I live my lifestyle now. I basically do really low carb during the week. I stay in ketosis all week. I feel good in ketosis and with our products. I feel amazing. I don't suffer from fatigue. And then on the weekends, I have a few cheat foods. I wouldn't say huge cheat meals. I might have like a piece of dessert. I might have some, a sweet potato, something like that. I don't go crazy because I feel bad when I eat a lot of carbs. So that's kind of personally what I suggest. Dee Dee, do you have anyone that has had a gallbladder removed with any problems losing? Yes, we actually have several people that don't have a gallbladder on this, and I know people that don't have a gallbladder sometimes have to stay away from high fats. So that might be something you need to talk to your doctor specifically about, but I know, and I can actually, I think we've got some coaches on here that don't have a gallbladder that might be able to chime in and tell you more about that. But you might want to just watch the fat intake. If you don't have a gallbladder, you may want to look at the corporate plan, because the fat might not be conducive to not having a gallbladder. Okay, Sandra asks, how many calories should you have per day on the 8 days? Okay, well, if it's your first 8 days, don't get stressed out about counting. But if you're just meticulous and you want to just really manage this well, 1200 is a really great place to shoot from. I do recommend that you get the bulk of those in the morning, though. Like, you try to get them in the morning to afternoon and kind of taper off at the evening. But in the first 8 days, you really don't need to be stressing about calories. You just need to be following the plan. Okay. Jana Mitchell says, do you recommend, or what do you recommend if the flush is not working? Okay, that's a great question. So, you can actually take several flush a day. You can take up to 6, I think Peter recommends, a day if you are having issues with it. If the flush is not working, you really need to load up on a lot of fiber and a lot of water and do a lot of really green fibrous vegetables. That's my recommendation. And you might really lay out on the dairy and the, and like the red meats. You might really stick to some lean proteins, and that should help get things moving along. That's what I recommend. And then make sure that you're doing your flush with a hot drink, and then using your cheat, because she has a lot of natural fiber in it, and it's going to help move things along. Melissa says, what do I eat if I'm hungry on my 8 day? Eat protein. If you're in between your shakes and your meals and you're hungry, have protein. Protein has 0 carbs, so it's basically free. Have cheese, have a, a couple pieces of bacon, have a hard-boiled egg, things like that. Those are great choices for in between there if you're hungry. Chances are, though, if you're on your first 8 days, you're not going to be hungry, because the products really do help fill you up. Oh, and Melissa just posted the macros. Thank you. I appreciate that. 75% fat, 20% protein, 5% carbs. Okay, Monica Sanchez, what do you suggest for someone who is still gets bad cravings even with taking XR2? If they're still having bad cravings, they're probably not eating enough fat, depending on if they're in their first 8 days or not, because if they're eating enough fat in a low ketonic diet, they should not be having cravings, because that's really going to naturally help fight it. Also, I would like to look at and see how many calories they're having, and where they're still getting their carbs from, and if they're using any artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners, I know they say they have no carbs, but they can actually create an insulin response in your body similar to carbohydrates, and so they also still cause cravings. Zing, XR2, Cheat Plus, and Lean, and Accelerate are all designed to fight cravings. So all those products are really going to help with that. Okay, Jessica asks, after you finish your ultimate pack and you want to maintain on this system, what do you recommend taking? That's a great question. For myself, I can tell you personally, I use Zing, XR2, Global Blend, and Action every single day. I don't go a day without those 4. And now I use Shine, because my husband swears I'm a lot nicer with Shine. So I don't go a day without those 5 now. I keep Lean in my cabinet at all times. I don't use it every day, but I do use it pretty regularly, and I keep Flush around as a tool, because, on the weekends when I have my few carbs, I use Flush, and then I use Cheat in my purse occasionally. So that's kind of my lifestyle plan, but every month I reorder Zing, XR2, Global Blend, and Action, and actually my kids use Action and Global Blend as well. So, Deanie says, what do you use fat bombs? When do you use fat bombs? Should they be in ketosis or what? Yes. Okay, so fat bombs are a tool. They are not designed to be something that you eat all the time on this system. They are a tool to help really accelerate the burn, and not all fat bombs are created equally. I really personally prefer fat bombs with coconut oil. They're much better versus versus fat bombs with, say, a lot of artificial sweeteners such as sugar-free Jell-O and cream cheese. Those are not quite as efficient, I don't feel like. But you need to be getting with your coach and talking about fat bombs, not just starting to add them in yourself. And then I like to get fat bombs in before noon, especially if you're 35 and older. You don't want to be doing the majority of your fat in the evening. You want to get it in earlier. That is important. So fat bombs are absolutely a tool. They're not something to make a steady diet of. And that's a great question, Deanie. Sherry says, I'm going in and out as far as hearing. I'm sorry, I'm sitting in my car, so it could be the weather. So I hope you guys are getting this. If not, I guess we'll have the video. Deidre says, she doesn't have a gallbladder and she hasn't had any issues. Okay, that's good to know. That's good information. And Jana says she doesn't have a gallbladder, and I do just fine on the keto split. And I was thinking about you, Jana, but I didn't want to say that you didn't have one without double checking with you. Cheryl asks, can a vegetarian get into keto? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, with the vegetarian plan, you may want to do a little bit of research regarding what you would use for your proteins and your fats, but I know as far as like most vegetarians, they use cheeses and eggs still, and they don't mind using their vegetables and cooking their vegetables in butter and that sort of thing. So those are really sustainable options on the keto plan. And then using our a lot of vegetarians love our protein shake because they're able to get a lot of that protein that they're missing out on, and they use our protein to really replace a lot of it that they're missing in their diet anyways from being vegetarian. So absolutely. And I have had a friend that had a lot of success doing this, doing the keto and doing vegetarian. So yes, absolutely. I don't know about vegan so much though. I've never really coached a vegan, so that would be something that we would have to dive into together. Okay, Krista says, am I really supposed to only eat 3 to 6 ounces of protein when it says, or should I buy a scale? So, you can use your fist to measure protein. That's a pretty good indicator. I wouldn't recommend buying a scale. Just kind of eyeball it. That's the cool thing about this system is with the keto plan, if you're a little bit off on the sizes, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I mean, the portion sizes are there just to kind of help you, you know, as a general rule. But if you're hungry, eat a little bit more. It's not really a deal breaker if you eat a little too much protein. Yes, Melissa says artificial sweeteners create cravings. They absolutely do. Okay, so what products are okay for children? Okay, so first of all, our products are for people 18 and older. I need to say that as a disclaimer. However, I have worked with my doctor, and they have okayed for my kids for them to be on Action Global Blend. They're perfectly safe. They're benign, but I would recommend that you check with your doctor before doing anything. Of course, these products are designed for 18 and older, but we did check with it, so that's what I give my kiddos. But again, working with my doctor. What about stevia? Carla says, stevia is okay. Actually, our lean shake uses stevia, so if you're going to use an artificial sweetener, I do recommend stevia. Great question. Melissa says, what if I accidentally eat a cookie during the day and go over my carbs? Should I still eat high fat the rest of the day? No. Okay, so if you accidentally eat a cookie, don't do anymore. Don't do high fat, because high fat and high carbs equals weight gain. So if you have a cookie, eat lean protein and vegetables the rest of the day and start back over the next day. Great question. Asking for someone, Marlene says, I have been unable to lose weight consistently. I am in keto, but also cycle and exercise daily. Should I be on the athlete plan, or could there be other issues? Whoops. That'll stop weight loss. Keep on reading. Numbers are good on macros. Okay, that's a great question, but if it's the person I'm thinking about, we may need to do that coaching call like we talked about, because there's a lot more that go into that. It could be depending on how much weight she's wanting to lose. If she's at the last part of her weight loss, or if she's got, you know, quite a bit to lose, would vary on what I would recommend. Also age being a factor and when she's getting her fat intake. So that might be something we need to work more specifically on, Marlene. So, I think we maybe have that set up for tomorrow. I hope. Chelsea asked, what exactly are fat bombs? Okay, fat bombs are a tool. We kind of went over this a minute ago, but fat bombs are a tool to help expedite the burn in ketosis. Okay, they're not something you should be eating a lot of. Like 1 to 2 fat bombs a day are plenty. And like I said, I prefer fat bombs made with coconut oil, not ones that are made with a lot of dairy and artificial sweeteners. Okay, but they are definitely a tool, and they can help you get your calories in. They can give you a big burst of calories, because sometimes when people are at a plateau, especially towards the bottom part of their weight loss, they can experience a stall. So sometimes they have to up their fat to get, excuse me, to get in enough calories. And so a fat bomb is a very great tool to use. So they are a tool, not a go to eat as much as you can because you're in ketosis. They, you know, are a tool. So use in moderation. Okay, going up. Cheryl asks, what about Shine? Should somebody take it if they've already gone through menopause? Okay, so here's what Peter says. Shine is designed for women in their earlier stages. It's more designed for people that are premenopausal. However, if you're postmenopausal, you will still reap some benefits from it. You will have the increased libido. It will help with hot flashes. It will still help balancing out your hormones. You're just not going to have the effects, excuse me, from, you know, the PMS symptoms and PMDD and things like that. Yes, Melissa, so don't eat fat bombs and cookies together. That's not conducive to losing weight. That's a great question. You guys are awesome. Okay, Danny asked, do I really need to track my food as far as macros and percents of fat and carbs a day? I eat what the 8-day plan suggests, and I'm not good at putting my meals into MyFitnessPal. Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you. If it's working and you're losing, keep on doing what you're doing. If you hit a stall, we may need to start tracking it. Okay, so it's kind of one of those things that's kind of different for everybody, but if you're having success and you're losing and you're great with the 8-day plan, then that's good. Some people really like to have that, and it really helps with our coaching if we know what you're doing, but if you're having success and you haven't hit any stalls yet or any plateaus, then you just keep on keeping on, girl or guy. Danny's a gender neutral name, so I can't see your profile picture, so you just keep on. Birth control has always caused me to gain weight, but I'm about to start the 8-day Ignite for the first time. Will because pills stop me from losing weight on this diet? Jennifer asks. It shouldn't. I know a lot of us use birth control because a lot of us are still in our childbearing years, and not all of us want any more kids. So, the birth control should not keep you from losing weight. In fact, the products are actually going to help regulate your hormones, especially if you're using Shine. So you'll have good results, because I'm guaranteeing you 90% of the people on this page that are in their childbearing years are using birth control. So, and then yes. Okay. Sherry asks, if you eat too many, or if you drink too many adult beverages or Coors Lights, it will slow you down. Yes. Okay, so even low carb alcohol will convert to sugar. Your body will metabolize it, and it will turn to sugar, and it will slow your weight loss down. So I really recommend on your first 8 days, especially, no alcohol. It will slow down the momentum. After that, you can add in low carb cocktailing, but it will slow it down. So if you're wanting to lose quickly, I recommend laying off the alcohol for a little while. Try XR2. It reduces cortisol levels, and it's actually a lot more conducive to weight loss than alcohol. And it'll help your stress and anxiety levels, and it's kind of like a glass of wine at night. So if you're missing that, try XR2. Marlene asks, is Shine okay with an IUD? As far as I know, but if you're, you know, if you're really wondering, you might consult with your doctor. But as far as I know, Shine is not a hormone product. It is a hormone optimizer. It doesn't have any hormones in it. It is designed to work with your endocrine system to naturally enhance your body's own production and leveling out of hormones. So as far as I know, that's safe, but if you want to check with your doctor, that would be good. Krista says, I'm on birth control and I've lost 40 pounds in 5 months. Yeah, see, a lot of us use birth control. Okay. Jamie Peterson asks, I've lost 50 pounds so far, track my food religiously, fats at 120 grams or more, been kind of stalled, went on vacay for 5 days, ate okay, but definitely went over carbs, and I lost 1.5 pounds. What? Okay, yeah. So a lot of times that's, you know, when a cheat day comes in, you've been going for a long time, Jamie, you've lost 50 pounds, and you've had a lot of success, and sometimes when you throw back in those carbs for just like a quick little weekend like that, especially after you've been on a long run of ketosis like you've done, and you've been really successful, then sometimes adding back in those carbs for a short period, not a month, but a short period, can help you lose a little bit. It just kind of shakes up your body, and it just sends it like, what are you doing to me? And it just drops some weight. It's a pretty cool thing about our system. Okay, Cheryl asks, if someone is on UTK and still tired, can they take Zing with Accelerate? Yes, all of our products are designed to work synergistically. Sometimes I take Zing and Accelerate together. Haley says, I'm taking Shine 3 times a day instead of at night. What will be better for weight loss? I have kind of stalled since starting the Shine. At first, it gave me bad migraines. Okay, so the Shine is a system in itself. Okay, it's going to level everything out, but you need to give it 30 days. I would recommend Haley to take it like Peter said, and to take it starting with 1 a night with food and then working your way up to 3. That's how it's designed to use, so that your body can really, your hormones and everything tend to really level out at night. And that's what I would recommend. So it's still a new enough product. I don't have tons of feedback on it yet, but I do know that everything will level out the longer you're on it. So stick with it and you'll start seeing some really good results. Cash. Is Shine recommended for preggo moms or nursing moms? No. Don't use Shine for preggo or nursing. Yes, great questions. Are there any more, y'all? Those are great questions. I hope this has been helpful. Let me go back and see if I missed any. I love the live feed. This is kind of fun. Let's see here. Cool. Well, we've been on here for about 35 minutes. I think that's, you know, kind of taking up quite a bit of your time, and I want everybody to be able to get on here and watch this. I'd like to start doing this at least once a week so that we can really hone in and get some good coaching. I'd also like to feature some of my other coaches, because we've got some amazing stories on here, y'all. So I really hope that you guys have benefited from this, and if you have more questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We can do coaching calls. We can, you know, that's what we're for. So anyways, thanks for all the feedback, and thanks for getting on, guys. I really appreciate it, and we will talk soon. Good night.